Bum ba-dum bum 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 bum. Flies off the screen. It's another Doctor Who review. It's series 15, episode 2, Lux. Light. Unit of light. Lux. Someone in the comments last week said, what's it called, Doctor Reviews? Because they're obviously mentally impaired. It's called Doctor Reviews because this is in a playlist of multiple reviews about the programme Doctor Who. That's why it's called Doctor Reviews, because when things are multiple and gathered together, you refer to them in the plural. Yes, singularly, it's a single review, but it's in a playlist. So, just in case you're a bit dim. This week, the Doctor and his chum are transported to 1952 Florida because the plot says so, because they can't get back to where they want to go, so we're doing that. It's called a plot device. There's this plot device thing about him not getting to Earth properly because I can't remember the TARDIS, but anyway, they're in Florida and oh god, I can't remember the name of anything because I'm recovering. I'm in recovery from having a tooth removed, and my brain isn't working. But there was a theatre, a movie theatre, and by magic, moonlight magic, a cartoon character called Mr. Hoppity Boppity or something comes to life, and the theatre is locked, but the projectionist stays inside, and people are missing. That's the plot. And there are problems. There are problems with that because, if weird things happened, I'm sure that they wouldn't allow the projectionist to stay inside, and that there would be police guarding it. I don't know, but it's the Doctor Who, so you don't think about it. Overall, I enjoyed the episode. I know it's shocking. I thought it was a bright and breezy episode, and it was fun. I enjoyed it. Spoilers. There will be spoilers, for we are talking about the plot. Of course, we have the whole, oh no, it's 1950s America, and racism and segregation, which we'd already done back in the Whittaker era, and I'm sure it's been touched on previously than that. So we have to put that in. But the British accents, you see, British accents. If you're a black Brit, in 1952's Florida, and you spoke with the British accent, I think they'd probably just wave you through. You know what I'm saying? Because you're different. But anyway, that was kind of at the beginning. It didn't overshadow too much of the story. They didn't kind of overplay that. So it's like a Monster of the Week episode, and the monster is an animated character that comes out of the screen. I really like that idea. I like the way it was executed. I like the way that the Doctor and his companion were absorbed into the screen. I like the story mechanics of why the projectionist was doing what the projectionist was doing. Everything was kind of making sense. There was narrative logic involved, right? Rather than the thing having to happen because the thing needed to happen. That only happened at the beginning with the moonlight activating the cartoon character. Because we're in this magical realm now. Alright? There are callbacks to other episodes. There are callbacks to other episodes because we broke the fourth wall and we introduced some Doctor Who facts. I thought it was both hokey and sweet at the same time because I do believe that Mr. Rusty Nuts was paying tribute to the long-suffering Doctor Who fan For do we not suffer? We do suffer, and I thought that was a nice touch. I quite enjoyed that, especially at the end. This creature is one of the pantheon of the I want to call him Games Master. Can I call him Games Master? Celestial Toymaker. I like Games Master better, but that's a completely different show. So they're part of that pantheon of gods, and this one is like a god of light. Okay. We'll go with that. And he's defeated because he wants to become a real little boy, like Pinocchio. But that was a puppet and not a cartoon. I think that's even referenced in the show. And they use the Doctor for that. And I enjoyed that bit. And again, I think Mr. Gatwell was given plenty to do. He showed his range. He even cried. You know, there was some crying, but he got things to do. And I thought, as an episode, this is more like it. We got to see him do things. However, he didn't solve the problem. That was down to the projectionist sacrificing himself. Davis likes doing this. He likes to introduce a character that ultimately ends themselves, because that's what happens, and spares or any meaningful creature. There are no stakes. There are very few stakes in this, even though there appears to be stakes. The sacrifice is always made by a peripheral character. That is de rigueur for the show, okay? But it made sense in the whole narrative structure of this. It made sense. I'll let them have it. And yeah, it breezed along. I think it's about 45 minutes. It breezed along. I enjoyed it. It felt, again, in places, it felt a bit like Sapphire and Steel, with some of its, like people being trapped in the frames of film. I enjoyed that. And it resolved itself, and everyone was fine, and everyone's happy, and Lux becomes diluted by all the light in the universe, which I thought was a good touch. I thought that was an interesting touch. But does he become more omnipresent or omnipotent? We don't know. That could be, again, something to come back to. Again, brings in the whole Celestial Toymaker pantheon of gods idea. But I laughed, I enjoyed it, I thought it tooed along, it felt like a good episode, and I enjoyed it, and the kids enjoyed it, and that was important. The kids enjoyed it. Herb wasn't looking forward to it, but I said, no, I've heard this might be a half decent episode, and everybody enjoyed it, and that's the important thing. And it's a shame that we don't get more episodes like this, where the message isn't forced in, or the message is kind of crowbarred into a story and breaks the story. Things have got to feel natural, and a lot of Davis's storytelling lately has felt very unnatural, whereas this felt very much like a natural, old school, and I mean like old Russell T Davies kind of story. And there was lots of little references to other things and previous Doctors, good use of the Matt Smith theme, and it was just probably the best episode of this era so far. This was really, I thought it was really tight. However, if I put on my cynic hat, if I put my miserable cynical hat on, it's just a rerun of the Maestro episode. If you think about it, Abbey Road is replaced by the cinema, the movie theatre. Maestro is replaced by Lux, and the Beatles are replaced by the fans, kind of. So, it's very much, we're redoing the same story again, but this is a lot better than the Maestro one. But again, with Maestro, the Beatles saved the day. In this one, the projection saves the day, and the Doctor is kind of waylaid, as it were. But I thought this worked a lot better, and I think there was, again, I think there was quite a lot more malevolence to the character. Whereas doing the Panto Dane Maestro, I thought that was a bit too comedic. There was never any real fear in it, but the cartoon characters coming to life. Again, that plays on very much a childhood. If you were as a kid watching this, you could, and you watch cartoons, but I very much they don't watch Merry Melodies and those kind of, Tex Avery productions. God, remember those back in the day? I imagine that cartoons in that style were very much foreign to the kids who are watching now, so they wouldn't have the same kind of gut punch that it would have done if you'd have shown that to kids in the 70s or 80s. But no, I thought it worked. I enjoyed Gatwa's performance, and even the new companion, Belinda Chandra. But again, she's still a bit flint-faced, isn't she? She's a bit of a hard ass. She's not got the soft edges of other companions, so that's, again, find it very hard to warm to her. But like I said, enjoyed it, thought it was a good 45 minutes spent, and I would probably watch it again. I can't say that about a lot of the episodes that have been on. I watched them and just go, oh, these are awful. I thought it whipped along. I thought it was good fun. I thought it was creepy. I thought it was well paced. Good use of musical cues. They were a little overused in the opening with the TARDIS. It was a little bit ding dong ding ding dong, a little bit overplayed. Other than that, yeah, keep it up. Next week's episode, I think it's called The Well. It's about a big hole in the ground. Now, again, I'm worrying with the redoing Impossible Planet. Where the Doctor goes down a big hole and finds evil. Now, Russell Davies' original idea for that was that he finds a little girl, because evil can take many shapes and sometimes it can use forms to get you on side. What if Rusty is reusing that idea for The Well? I don't know, but we'll find out. Shooty goes down a big... Shooty penetrates a big black hole, which I'm sure that's the reason he got the job. That's not funny, Darren. That's not funny. A lot of people would be upset by that joke. But here we are. This is what we do. Anyway, thank you for watching. Hopefully, I don't know. Do people even like this? I do not know. I'm reaching for my implement. So yeah, that's another Doctor review for another week. Hopefully next week's one will be good as well. You kind of cross your fingers. And again, Mrs. Flood turned up at the end of the episode because flood. What floods? Rivers flood, don't they? Oh, maybe that's the key to all of this. We'll never know. But yeah, tune in next time when hopefully my jaw's working properly and I can think in a straight line. That was it. That was Lux. Remember, folks, always be careful. Whoops. Where you stick your sonic screwdriver. It's a bit jammy, isn't it? Ta-ta!